and now also in Baton Rouge, which of course was the same city in which you had a man who basically was shot, and we all watched the video, okay, laying on the ground of a convenience store. Speaking of which, I ran into a delegate from Louisiana. He's from Baton Rouge, white dude, very, very much older than me. I would say 60s, if not 70s. And we strike up a conversation, and, you know, we started talking about the politics of all that kind of stuff. He had on a button that read, "All Lives Matter." And he said to me, he said, you know, Nate, someone came to me, I guess he meant a black dude came to him and said, listen, if I wore speaking of his button that read "All Lives Matter," if I wore that button back to where I live, then people will run me out of there. And I guess he was trying to make the point that, like, some black people, you know, don't really support all lives matter. They support Black Lives Matter. And I didn't know where dude was coming from. Like, I didn't know if he was just naive as hell and he just didn't know any better, or if this was his spin on it. Okay? Because like I told him, I could take a Black Lives Matter pin or button and take it into certain neighborhoods and they want to run me out. It just depends on that neighborhood. And it depends on that perspective. And what I say is black, white, police officer, Republican, Democrat, we got a lot more in common than we do not. Now, these Republicans with their silly political initiatives that seem to only favor the rich and the military industrial complex, that needs to be brought to heel. That needs to be taken care of, to steal a Hillary Clinton term, brought to heel. But you know, it's wild. It's wild how people have these different perspectives. I ran into a group of, and again, they're all Asian women. Not being stereotypical. They all had on Make America Great Again. It was about six or seven of them. All together, all dressed similarly, all in white T-shirts that read Chinese women love Trump. And they're all wearing hats that read Make America Great Again. Red hats that read Make America Great Again, which is very, very interesting. As I said earlier, one thing that troubles me about Donald Trump is I'm hearing him call himself the law and order candidate. Have you heard that? That's troubling to me. Law and order? It's troubling, but not surprising. If you remember, folks, back to the Wednesday show, Thursday show, I had anticipated that Donald Trump might drape himself and start selling himself as the law and order candidate. People keep saying, oh, Donald Trump can't win. Listen, anytime that you are in the race, you got a chance at winning. Anytime. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. If you're in the race, you got a shot at winning that race. And if these police shootings continue, I believe that they will help Donald Trump. I believe it'll drive people to the polls if he will continue and if he's successful at branding himself as the candidate that can take all the pain and the uncertainty and the fear away. If he's able to successfully brand himself as the candidate who can take the fear away, who can make your streets safer, who supports law enforcement because he's the law and order candidate, who can stop ISIS or ISIL, then people will vote for him. And even though there's some people out there who are like, I'm on the surface here, believe it or not, there's some people who are on the fence about Donald Trump. Like, you may already have your opinion, but there are people out there who are on the fence. And if he's able to create this image of himself as the guy who's going to stop the chaos. I'm not only going to make America great again, which is an amazing slogan. I mean, that's genius level right there. And he probably just came up with it off the top of the dome. Genius level. Keep telling you, that is a great slogan. Make America great again. It appeals to those folks who feel as if they're losing their America. It appeals, quite honestly, to white folks who feel like they're losing their grip of power in America. It appeals to people who understand that America, in terms of its stature in the world, is not where it used to be. How the hell are we a superpower when we owe so much money to the Chinese? How are we a superpower? Who's the real superpower here? And we owe them money. Exactly. So for him to use that makes a lot of sense. Now, every single day has a different theme at the convention. And like I told you, Donald Trump's overarching campaign statement is Make America Great Again. Okay. Well, each day has a different theme at the Republican National Convention here in Cleveland. Okay. Currently 9:13 a.m. in the Cleveland area, right? Also the Queen City. So today's thing is going to be, so they have different themes every day. So one theme is Make America Safe Again. That's today's theme. Make America Safe Again. That's deep. That's deep because it cuts across socioeconomics. It cuts across race. What does that mean to you? Like if I say I want to make your neighborhood safe again, what does that mean? Well, it depends on the neighborhood. In some neighborhoods, it could be, okay, well, you're going to stop you're going to stop the gang activity in the neighborhood, make it safe again. In some areas, it could mean you're going to stop the heroin addicts from coming into your neighborhood, make it safe again. In some ways, it could mean a lot of different things. So that's the theme for today. Make America safe again. And that's why you have Sheriff Clark, who'll be, I believe he's near the last of the speakers. If you're interested, I can give you a detail. I've been, even last night, I was talking with some media people not last night, but yesterday, and I was asking them for an agenda. And they were like, we don't have an agenda because the Trump administration, the Trump campaign hasn't sent it. And then someone shared with me that the problem that they're having is, and this was a sister who was in charge of the media services, by the way. Shout out to her. Shout out to Kenzie for the hookup. But she's like, well, Nate, the problem is that they can't get speakers. Like, for instance, Scott Baio is speaking today. Scott Baio. Charles in charge, Scott Baio. The hell? And again, this wasn't anything that was planned. Literally just last week, Donald Trump ran into Scott Baio and he said, yeah, you want to speak at the convention? He's like, sure. Hell, if they let me speak at the convention today, I'll speak. Republican or not, I'll do it. So Scott Baio is speaking today. And that just goes to show you that on some levels, they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of Republicans to get them to come up here to honor this whole process. The governor of Ohio was in Cincinnati. He addressed the NAACP. I heard he got applause. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, standing ovation for a sucker MC like Kasich. Listen, I don't know who you are or where you are, but let me tell you how I feel about John Kasich. John Kasich is useless. He spent, 100 and something days campaigning away from Ohio, and guess what? We never noticed. What does that tell you? We don't need him. I'll say it again. No one man should have all that power. No one man should have all that power. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve it. And what I mean by that is that if you look at most of the economic success, okay, I'll put it this way, not even economic, because I don't want to negate or downplay the impact of the Obama administration in Ohio. Let's just say this. If not for some of the Obama administration ideas and initiatives, the state of Ohio will be in a much worse place. If the Republicans had followed their game plan, the state of Ohio will be in a much worse place than where it is today. But did your governor, John Kasich, and my governor, did he give Obama any credit when he was running for president? No, he did not. Perhaps if he was a little bit more authentic, then perhaps he would have resonated with the voters more. But he tried to play it off like, I just made so many great decisions and I formed so many great coalitions. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know about you. I live in Cincinnati and the unemployment rate among adults is abysmal. And it's not as bad as it is here in Cleveland right now, where you got over half of the adults who are out work. They're out of work. So is the Republican National Convention going to address that for Clevelanders? We'll have to wait and see. So today's theme is Make America Safe Again. Later on in the week, They've got more themes, very, very similar. So you've got Make America Great Again, Make America Safe Again, Make America Work Again. I believe that's the theme for tomorrow here at the convention. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that perhaps a lot of the speakers, a lot of the rhetoric that'll be coming from the convention tomorrow will be based upon workforce development, getting people back to work, things like that. Today is going to be about safety, whether it be in your neighborhood or whether it be in the country. So that's what you can expect. If you're interested, I can give you a complete rundown of everything that you're going to, if you're interested, everything that everyone who's going to be on the stage today. And like I said, Scott Baio and Sheriff Clark are on the first day. What does that tell you? What in the hell is a Scott Baio? And why would I want to go to Republican National Convention to see that? And scraping the bottom of the barrel. Daryl writes, what? Kasich was at the NAACP convention? ? Now I think about the state of the NAACP today. Not surprised that he got a standing ovation. See, I want to see the video. Cause some of these Cincinnati dudes, man, they'll clap at anything. I call them clap hoes. I'm not a clap hoe. Okay? I'm not promiscuous with my clapping. Okay? If you want me to clap for you, you're going to have to really deliver. Okay? I'm sorry. All right? I ain't doing you no favors. I'm not clapping just because you're here. So for him to get a standing ovation, he must have said some ill words. Or, these Cincinnati dudes, you know how they are, man. You from Cincinnati. Tracy writes, not Chachi. Yeah, Chachi. Joni loves Chachi. Oh, man. Good morning, Shauna. Good to see you. Mike writes, wow, driving while black at Tiffany. Tracy writes, tardy but here. Well, I was tardy myself. Jane writes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jane. Good to see you. Wanda writes, morning. I was listening to one of your shows from last week, and then I seen this email. I said, okay, let me tune into this new broadcast. I'm glad. I love the way the Spreaker network works. Shout out to my friends over there. I make friends wherever I go. Thank you very much. That's funny. Daryl writes, Nate, you were right. You ran into Trump last night because there's no difference between the cardboard cutout and the real Trump. They both have no brands, bro. Brian writes, Don had your tail a couple of breaks because of all the ridiculous rhetoric he was spewing. I couldn't have been Don Lemon. I would have smacked the out of that dude on national television. Tiffany writes, and good to see you, Tiffany. Beautiful pic. She writes, speaking of law enforcement, be careful if you go to Amelia. My little brother lives out there and was harassed and arrested. They busted his lip. What? They busted his lip and claimed he had a gun and was risking arrest, but charged him with menacing. He was on his way home from work. Sad. Very sad. Very sad. I hope your brother's okay. I really do. And Tiffany, let me know what's going on. Let me know what's going on. Let's stay in touch on that and make sure we let everybody in the chop shop know as well. You say out in Amelia, huh? I hope your brother's okay. Brian writes, Don Lemon had that punk ass Sheriff Clark from Milwaukee on last night. He's a bum. Junior writes, good morning, family. Ed writes, how long is the show today? Well, we typically been going 90 minutes, so somewhere around that. But there'll be multiple live broadcasts today. I got to do a live broadcast from the convention floor. Come on now. What's the use of coming to the Republican National Convention if you're not going to be live from the convention floor? I want to be in the middle of everything. I'm that dude. Which leads me to another point. Okay, yeah, I'm doing this for the show, and we started a new program, a new platform here in the city, and of course, you want to get attention, you want people to know where you are, but this is also an exercise for me personally in terms of my own soul. This is an exercise of my own soul. Like I said, I subscribe to the belief that I don't want to die wondering. I don't want to die wondering. I don't want to miss opportunities and get older and not be in a position to do things that I wish I had done. So Using me as an example, I got in the car by myself, hit the road. I'm here doing what I need to do. You can do the same.